Hi, this is George Cao. Welcome back to our Highest Work, a video training series where we are exploring the best ideas in spiritually based business success. Now, today in this video, I am going to be finishing off the summary of The 7-Day Startup, a book by Dan Norris, which we've been covering in a couple of videos before this as well. Now, remember that when we talk about the 7-Day Startup, it doesn't mean you have to go from start of the idea to a launched business in 7 days. You can do that, and of course the book recommends it, but my recommendation is that you take each of the 7 days as a separate step, and each step can take anywhere from 1 day to even 1 week. My suggestion is to try to do it in, say, 3 to 5 days per step. Because remember that entrepreneurship, successful business creation, is really about testing in the real world by launching your business to put your offer, your product or your service in front of people to say, will you buy this? And then seeing what their reaction is. Everything before that, market research, doing niche interviews, talking to people to see whether they might want to buy it, doing surveys, all of that is testing assumptions, and it's not testing the real world assumptions. It's just testing whether they would be nice to you in a survey. It's just testing whether they'd be nice to you in an interview or in a focus group. It's not testing whether they would actually buy your thing. And the only way, I'm sorry to say it, and this is not just from me, it's from the book, but it's from many other smart business coaches that I've talked to, the real way to know is to actually do the launch and see whether people buy, and then adjust from there. If they don't buy, ask them what would be better instead. Of course, it's just an assumption, and it's just some data, but then you won't know until you change the business, change the offer, and then make an offer to them again and see what happens. So that's why we're talking about the importance of this idea of launching quickly, not that we're impatient or not that we are impulsive, but we are realistic about what the real testing is, and to do it in the marketplace where you get real data, then you can adjust wisely. Okay, so today I'm going to go from step 3 all the way through step 7. So I'm going to go rather quickly. You can always watch this video again, but I reckon each time you watch a video, you probably get something new out of it. So let's get going. So step 3 is about creating your business, the name of your business, the name of your service, the name of your product. And a quote here from Jason Cohen, a successful kind of business founder, is, "It's more effective to do something valuable than to hope that a logo or a name will say it for you." Again, it's more effective to do something valuable, to create a great service, than to hope that a logo or name will say it for you. And I totally agree with him, and I'll give you an example. I never really had a logo for my business, my coaching business, georgecow.com. There's no logo there. You can see, go there and just check at this time anyway. There's no logo. There's not really a name. I use my own name. And yet I built a successful business from day one with just my own name. And many people have as well. So by default, just go with your own name. You don't have to come up with some fancy business name. But if you want to try brainstorming a business name, we'll talk about right now. Now, here are a couple reasons from the book why you don't need more than a day, according to the book, to create your business name. Reason number 1, it will distract you from what's actually important, which is creating your service or product. Now, I'm going to translate this, I have been, and for this video as well, translate the book for solopreneur service providers. So from now on, I'm just going to refer to services, okay? And I'm going to assume that you are running the business yourself, you don't have a team, etc. Okay? Okay, so again, creating a business name quickly because you want to focus on the real effort, which is to create your service and to make it as great as possible. And ultimately, it's your service. It's how good your service is that will make or break your business. It's not how great your business name is. That can help. But it's really, even a great business name and a mediocre service is not going to save any business. So focus on your service. The second reason why I create your business name quickly is because your business name will, your business rather, will change significantly by the time you really get established as a business. So a couple examples he gives. Nintendo started out by making playing cards, and Tiffany started out by making stationery. And look how different their businesses are now, right? Nintendo is a video game company. Tiffany is, a jewelry company, right? But they didn't start out that way. Third reason why is you will grow into whatever name you come up with. So if you like the name, and if it's easy to say, and it's broad enough to cover the general area that you're going to go into, you're going to grow into the name. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be that specific. Most names from the book, it says, most names mean very little when they are first conceived. Steve Jobs, for example, impulsively named Apple computer, Apple, after the farm that he dropped acid on. Okay. So if that method works, anything goes, right? And Apple is incredibly successful, as we all know today. Fourth reason, you can change your business name down the track, often quite easily, especially for solopreneur service providers. I can change my business name today, just change my website, and over time, wherever I find that I was mentioning my name, I could change it. It's not that hard. Change my social media profiles or create a new one. It's really not that hard. It's not like you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make huge marketing campaigns about your name change. No, it's quite easy to change it down over time. Okay, another example. Google, okay, the big search engine. Google started out as Backrub. Yes, the name of the business used to be Backrub, or that was what they were thinking about. Okay, so the fifth reason why you should create your business name quickly rather than spend lots and lots of time on it is your customers don't really care. And I agree with the book when it says that. Your clients care more about how great your service is. And you have to like your name, but focus on the service, not the name. And the irony of a bad business name often is because someone overthinks it. So don't overthink it. All right. But given all that, here are some ideas, some tools and methods to get started on naming your business. Okay. A couple of ideas. One is you can name it after a place. Again, Apple Computer was named after an apple farm. Adobe, okay, another software company, was named after a creek that ran behind the founder's house. Okay. Another idea, besides a place, is to combine two words to create a new word. Example, Aldi, A-L-D-I, is a combination of Albrecht, the name of the founders, and discount, Albrecht discount, Aldi. Okay. Intel, another huge company, was combining integrated electronics, Intel. Okay. Groupon, okay, combined group coupon, Groupon. Okay. IKEA, the furniture company, was named after the first two letters of the founder's name, as well as the names of the property and village in which she grew up. So it's kind of IKEA, it was kind of melding the two. Another idea is to use an acronym for your service. So IBM stands for International Business Machines, okay, or BMW as Bavarian Motor Vehicles, right? Or look for terms in your industry, okay? So for example, the author of the book, Dan Norris, his company's name is WP Curve. WP stands for WordPress, which is the industry he's in. Or go to the dictionary. Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, co-founder of Twitter, liked the name Twitch. So he looked up at the words around in the dictionary and found the word Twitter. Okay, extend a related word. So a couple of tools for that is www.wordoid.com, wordoid.com, and another one is namemesh.com. Okay. Finally, you can, you know what? I think that's enough. Actually, remember the business name. Well, one final idea, which is to outsource it. The reason I'm hesitating is because, again, you're starting to make too big of a deal of the business name. Crowdspring.com is a site where you can get people to, you can pay people to, or pay the audience to outsource a name for you. Pay the professional, designers to kind of compete on a name that you like. So another tip is to keep it simple. Okay, nothing that's hard to spell, and if it's at all possible, keep it to 12 characters or less. The reason why the book says this is because the top 25 brands, the top most valuable brands or companies in the world, all have 12 characters or less as part of their name. So, interesting idea. See if you can come up with that. Also, make it something easy to say. So, for example, Amazon.com was originally named Cadabra. But during one of the conversations that the founder had with another team member, the team member mistook the name for cadaver. So the founder, Jeff Bezos realized that others could make the same mistake, so he changed it to Amazon, easier to say. And I think most importantly, do you like the name that you came up with? You've got to like it, because you're going to have to live with it for a long time, right? Broader name is better, because again, the broader name that's not so specific means that you can pivot your business, you can change your business over time to serve different things. But again, even if you need to change the business name, it's fine too. So a couple of ways to kind of confirm the name is to Google it. Google the actual name, put it in quotes so you can see if other people are already using it. And now it's not a deal breaker, but other people are using it. I've used names like True Livelihood, the name of my coaching program. Long before I started using it, there was someone else who was already using that phrase and trying to build a business around it. Now, she didn't trademark it. I'm grateful she did, because I was able to use it. And I think if you Google True Livelihood now, I think I'll probably come up before her business. In fact, I'm doing that. And yes, my things on True Livelihood come up first. So let's see. You could go to a website to check whether the name would be available on social media, like on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. The website to check is www.knowem.com, and KNOWEM.com. Knowem.com allows you to check whether a name is available on all these social media channels. And check trademarks. So if you're in the U.S., the website is uspto.gov/trademarks. These links I will put in the notes underneath the video later. So again, even if the name is being used, doesn't mean that you can't use it, again, except for the trademark. Okay, the trademark means that they could get lawyers to come after you. But besides that, you can still use it like I did and become known for the name. If you build the business and if you are persistent in building it, your name, the name will become known more than others who are building their business in a half-hearted way or not really doing it actively. Okay. Okay. One last thing is about the business name is, as a service provider, as a solopreneur, it's okay to just use your name. If you can't come up with some clever word, clever name, just use your name for now. Okay. Your name, your given name, your first and last name, is actually the longest lasting brand you'll ever have. So it doesn't matter if today I call my coaching program True Livelihood Coaching or whatever. My longest lasting brand will always be George Cow, because I'm not planning to change my name. And doesn't matter what business I'm building, people will always know that, okay, it's George Cow. They'll probably Google it anyway. Okay, so the other idea is, if you're creating a service package, you could just call it what it really is. So for example, when I first started 6 years ago, I was doing productivity consulting, so I called it Sustainable Productivity Coaching. That was my business name for the first couple months. It was clear, and that's what I was doing. Later, I started teaching people social media, so I call it Simple Social Media. Very simple and clear what the name is. It's not 12 characters, and it's certainly not unique, but I called it that, and I was known for that for some time while I was building it. Later on, I started teaching people how to do webinars and coaching around that, so I called it The Webinar Method. Clear, and it's what it is. Right now, I'm teaching people about True Livelihood, so more broadly, business creation and marketing consulting. So I call it True Livelihood Coaching. It's because that's talked about the values of right livelihood, things like that. So my preference is, I always expect to change the name in the future or to create another product or service with a different name. So I don't make a big deal out of it. Okay, so I encourage you to do the same. All right. So take just one day or a few days on the business name and move on, knowing that you can always change it later, and knowing that you'll grow into it as long as you like it. Okay, let's go on to step 4, which is to build a simple website so that you can launch your business. Okay. Now, the book suggests using GoDaddy for domain registration and WordPress for the website hosting. And my recommendation is for domain registration, to get the domain name, to get the URL, to use Hover, Hover.com, hover.com. They are more ethical than GoDaddy, which has some ethical issues. I'll put a link underneath the video to an article that talks about GoDaddy's ethics issues. So I like hover.com. And then for the website creation, I prefer Weebly, WEEBLY.com. Weebly is much easier to create a website with than WordPress, and I've been using it since the very beginning, 6 years ago. Built a very, very solid six-figure business just using Weebly, and I'm still on Weebly. I'm still quite happy with it. It's not as fancy as WordPress, but come on. Even as a marketing coach, I use Weebly. So if you want to try out Weebly and like it, you can use it too to build a very, very solid full-time business around it. So that's my suggestion. Okay, so about creating a simple website in step 4, all you really need is the following. Okay, so all you really need is 3 things. One is you need some kind of system for emailing people legitimately, not using your own email software, because that's not legitimate. People cannot unsubscribe easily, and you need to allow them to be able to unsubscribe easily if they want to. Then it's legitimate email. Otherwise it's called spam. Okay, if people can't unsubscribe, that's one of the rules of spam, is that they need to be able to easily unsubscribe. And so what I recommend is a system called MailChimp. It's kind of a funny sounding name, but it's a very solid service. I've been using it for, I think, 5 years now, and most of my clients use it, and it's the website is www.mailchimp, mailchimp.com. So that's my suggestion. And it's very affordable to begin with because it's free. For, I think, building an email list of up to 2,000, it's free. So I recommend beginning with MailChimp. So you need to use something like MailChimp to be able to email people legitimately who join your email list, to subscribe to your email newsletter or subscribe to learning more about your business launch. Okay, the second thing you need is a web page to collect people's email addresses so you can notify them about the launch and about further services and about any free tips you want to offer them and for future launches. So my recommendation is to combine Weebly and MailChimp. So create a website on Weebly, a very simple web page that you could say, hey, if you are someone who wants to overcome this problem or achieve this goal or dream, enter your email address below to be informed when this service to help you achieve that is ready. And you'll also receive free advice, free tips about how to solve these problems. Okay, something simple like that. You can make it more fancy but just that's basically it. And then put in a MailChimp form on your Weebly website, and that's it. Another tool to make this easy to collect email addresses and to announce a launch is called LaunchRock, www.launchrock.com. Check that out. But really, just to keep it simple, Weebly and MailChimp is very simple and it's sustainable. Again, I have a full-time business and I still use Weebly and MailChimp, okay? So the third thing you need, so we said the first thing is you need a system for emailing people, which is MailChimp is what I recommend. Second thing you need is a web page to collect email addresses so people can find out about your launch and about free tips. And I recommend Weebly and input your MailChimp form in there. And the third thing you need is a web page to talk about your service, so where people can buy your service and click the buy now button or hire now button or something like that. And the web page, again, Weebly is a website creator, and on your Weebly website you can have a page. Your home page can be collecting emails, and a separate page that says the service or services or something like that. And I will put a link underneath this video later to a template that I have on my blog for how to write your sales page. A sales page is basically the web page where you sell your services and where they can hire you. And in terms of what they use to pay you, I recommend PayPal. So if you go to sign up for a free account on PayPal, I have a free account on PayPal. Even with a free account, you can use the so-called merchant services. It's all free, okay? Don't have to subscribe to PayPal. Just use the free account to get a buy now button or a subscribe. If you have a monthly payments that your clients need to pay you, that's called a subscribe button. So that's all free on PayPal, okay? Now, of course, when people buy from you through the PayPal button, PayPal takes 3% of the revenue for for the credit card processing, all that. Please don't fuss about the 3%. It's 3 just the number 3%. So you get to keep 97%. So don't fuss about it. It's just a cost of business. I use PayPal for most of my clients. So another payment service, if you're just in the United States, you might want to also consider using Dwolla, DWOLLA.com, and you'll get to save 3% because each transaction is just 25 cents. Even if the transaction is $1,000, Dwolla only takes 25 cents. But it's only for United States people with US bank accounts, basically. And it's more trouble for your clients because they have to set up a Dwolla account as well. If you use PayPal, most people already have PayPal, so that's why it's easier for everyone, right? So a couple of tips to improve your website and your sales page and your opt-in your website is 3 things: copywriting, images, and Google Analytics. So one, copywriting is basically the words on your website will either make it clear for your visitor that yes, this is really what they want, or it will confuse them or won't make them interested and they'll leave. So the copywriting is quite important, what you say on your website. Now, Dan Norris, the book, suggests a copywriting checklist by Dane Maxwell, and I'll put the link underneath the video. But I looked at the copywriting checklist, and it's kind of using techniques that I find to be objectionable or not as maybe honest or compassionate as I prefer, too manipulative, too hyped up. So what I recommend instead is just to write honestly, to write clearly, with the intention to filter out only the people you can most help. So on your sales page, you can say, this service, this program is really for these types of people. It's not for these types of people, okay? And what I like to say, that authentic marketing is really about gathering and telling stories of transformation, how your service transforms your clients, okay? And to just sprinkle those stories throughout your website copy, throughout your sales page. An easy way to kind of write your sales page is to open up your email software and imagine you're writing to a specific person, your ideal client. It could be someone you already know who is an ideal client for you. And imagine writing someone who likes you, you know they like you, you know they trust you and respect you, and just write to them describing your service and what the service will do for them. Okay, so it might be easier just to imagine composing an email to an individual, and actually compose an email to an individual, and then take that email and put it on your website, and then make it more understandable for other people. Okay, for most people, for most of your audience members. Now, if you want some help with the copywriting, you can hire copywriters on Odesk, and I will put a link underneath the video on how I use Odesk to find copywriters. Very affordable. I've used copywriters that are just $15 an hour, and they do a great job for me. So it doesn't have to be a lot, and even just in 3 hours, they can copyright or improve the copy of your sales page. So it's a worthwhile investment. So second thing is images for your sales page. In your website will make a big difference. A professionally looking website. And again, Weebly has many professional themes you can use all for free. So, I don't use a free Weebly website. I use Weebly Pro, which I think is something like, I think I pay somewhere around $10 a month. So it's very worthwhile. And you might want to do that as well. That gives you more options on Weebly. Besides having a professional layout and theme, which again on Weebly is super easy to choose and use, and also put in relevant inspirational images throughout your web page, throughout each web page, instead of just having a lot of text. Put some images here and there so it looks more interesting. And I will put a link underneath the website on where I find free images. It's called search.creativecommons.org, or you can hire someone on Odesk or Fiverr at fiverr.com to help you with finding or creating images that you can use on your website. And the third thing to improve your website is Google Analytics. Now, I barely got started using Google Analytics just recently to look at how long people are staying on my website, where they're clicking to, and where they're coming from, that kind of thing. I didn't use Google Analytics for most of my business. For five and a half years of my business, I didn't use it. I had a very successful, thriving, full-time business. So I would say if you're not into the whole analytics and the science of marketing, just leave Google Analytics on the side for now. I'll probably do an episode in the future about Google Analytics if there's interest, but you can skip that for now. Okay, so step number 5 is the ways to market your business, and this itself is a very in-depth topic that I'll cover in another video later. So I'm going to skip the step number 5 for now and go on to step number 6, and we're almost at step number 7, which is launching your business, right? The final step. Step number 6 is to select the one metric that matters. The book calls this the OMTM, the one metric that matters. Okay, so when we are launching, the one metric that matters is really how many people are actually signing up for your service and paying you for it. And my suggestion, and from the book, is just to set a reasonable target that you feel is within your reach. And so, for example, Dan Norris, the author of the book, says that he sets a target of, when he launches a business, of $40,000 per year in revenue, because he can live off of that. And so as long as he can pay himself $40,000 a year, he's happy. And so that's a good target. And so, for example, if let's use that target, that's about $3,000 a month, which I know for most people, unless they live in an expensive area in the world, for most people, $3,000 a month will pay their monthly bills, right? So $3,000 a month, right? Or let's say $40,000 a year, and you're launching a business. You'd love to make $40,000 in the next 12 months. Imagine that each client pays you, or let's just say considerable, just a reasonable reach. Let's say that you're going to target to have 20 clients in the next 12 months. 20 clients in the next 12 months. $40,000 divided by 20 means that each client will be paying you $2,000 over the course of the next 12 months. And you might not get 20 clients in the first month, but let's say that you work with each client for 6 months at a time, a 6-month package of services. So $2,000 for a 6-month package is very reasonable, very reasonable. And depending on whether you work with them 1 hour every week or 1 hour every 2 weeks, it's a reasonable price. So just make it simple. Let's say I'm only work with 20 people in the coming year, and it's just $2,000 each. Now, you want to look at your own time schedule and see how much time you have available to work. Let's just say, for sake of simplicity, that you work with each client once a week, or maybe to make it more sustainable for the client, so that they don't have to make the call once a week or come to see you once a week. Just say you work with clients 90 minutes every 2 weeks. Okay, 90 minutes every 2 weeks, and it's $2,000 for 6 months, right? So let's just say 90 minutes every 2 weeks is approximately 3 hours a week, and 3 hours a month, and for 6 months you're working with them for 18 hours. And so if you're charging them $2,000, that's exactly $111.11 per hour. So that's a reasonable solopreneur service provider rate, especially when you're first launching. Okay, so I know for some people, when they first launch, they want to just charge $50 an hour, and that's really up to you and what you feel comfortable charging, that you feel is really worthwhile for the client. Okay, so but I've just given you a simple model. 20 clients, 90 minutes every other week, as a 6-month package, charging them $2,000, and they can make payments if they want to. But $2,000 is maybe a single payment of $2,000, or maybe a monthly payment of let's say a monthly payment of $350. So if they did the monthly payment, they would pay you more over time, or they could do a single payment of $2,000. So just keep it simple, okay? And the one metric that matters is how many people are signing up for it, not how many social media fans are you building, not how many visitors do you get to your website, not how many people are on your email list. Focus on the one metric that matters, which is how many people are signing for your services and what you need to do to have people sign for your services, okay? Many businesses get derailed by focusing on the wrong metrics and what people call, what marketers call vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are metrics that make you feel good, but it doesn't really build your business. So number of Facebook fans, number of people on your email list doesn't necessarily mean how many clients you're going to have, number of website visitors. Just focus on number of people signing up for your services. Okay, so step number 7, finally, is to launch. Okay, and an inspirational quote for this step is by the founder of LinkedIn.com, Reid Hoffman, says this: "If you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product or service or launch, you've launched too late." So again, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your website, it's too late. You've taken too much time to think about it and overplanned it, rather than testing quickly in the market to see if people will buy it. Okay, so a couple of ideas to get you started on actually doing the launch. And some of these ideas are marketing ideas, but I'll cover marketing in depth, the marketing ideas from the book and my own interpretation of it and my own additions of it. I'll cover that in another episode, okay? But here are some ideas to get you started on launching. First idea, launch your website, publish the website, click the publish button on Weebly with the payment button, okay? And also make sure to include as many options as you can for people to contact you. You want to be talking to potential clients as much as possible from day one, from the launch day and onwards. And so he recommends having a live chat option on your website. Now, I don't have one because I really value work-life balance, but Dan, the author of the book, really recommends hustling. And I agree with him. You know, if you really want to be focused and get your business sustainable, you've got to hustle. You've got to be. Dan, you know, Dan actually, he launched a 24/7 software support service, and he kept his cell phone by his bed. He put his cell phone number on the website and put his cell phone by his bed, so if someone needed software help at 3 a.m., he would pick up the phone. That was the first, I think, couple of months of his business. I mean, he really hustled. He really worked hard. And now he has a very successful business. Of course, he has team members all over the world who are fielding those 24/7 calls, no longer him. But that's an example of the willingness to do whatever it takes to work hard in the beginning to make your business sustainable. So that's why having a live chat, meaning you're always looking to see if, now live chat doesn't mean you have to be at your computer 24/7. It just means that whenever you are at your computer, and if someone tries to chat with you, you'll be willing to chat with them, especially if they wanted to chat with you from your sales page, right? Your website, your web page that describes services that they chatted with you from there. You've got to be willing to answer their chat. And the live chat software is such that when you're not available at your computer, it'll take a message. So the two tools I recommend looking at is www.livechat.com, livechat.com, and also another tool, another alternative is www.zopim.com, zopim.com. And either of these will allow you to easily install a tool on your sales page, on your website, where people can chat with you if you happen to be there and available for chatting. Okay, another idea to get you launched is to email the people who are on your pre-launch list, if you have any on your pre-launch email list. Thank them for their interest and ask them to sign up for the service if the offering is suitable for them, or if it's not suitable for them, to give you feedback. Now, you may not have anyone on your pre-launch list. It may simply be your friends and family, okay, the people who are supportive of you. Email them to say, hey, you know, I've launched this. Is this something that will work for you? If not, can you refer this to someone else? Or can you give me feedback on what would be more useful in the market, right? Okay, another idea is to post and update on your social networks, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your LinkedIn, on your Pinterest, or on your Tumblr, wherever you do social media stuff, and or forums and groups that you have been active in that allow this kind of thing. If you are active in online forums that have kind of an email signature, you can update your email signature to talk about the launch. Tell your friends and any contacts. Oh, I've already talked about this. Let's see. If you have a blog post about your launch, of course. Thank the people who have helped you up to this point, and include a encouragement in your blog post to actually make the purchase, to actually sign up for the service, or to give you feedback about it. Let's see here. Last idea he says he would love to know if you've launched a business using the 7-day startup method or the 7-step method. And if you did, you can give a shout out on social media. He is at the Dan Norris on Twitter, or use the hashtag 7daystartup with the number 7. And Dan says that if he thinks his audience would be interested, he would even spread the word about it. And the most important thing is, do not stress out. The launch will rarely make the lifelong difference for a sustainable business. Okay, the launch is just a launch. Your business is based on your continued hard work or smart work over the course of time. So the launch is just opening the doors one day. And remember, you can always relaunch your business down the road, 6 months down the road, once you make changes, or even 3 months down the road, once you make changes and make improvements. Do another reopening, a relaunch. That's totally fine. It's really fine to even relaunch your business once a year. To say, hey, you know what? I made some changes this year. I'm going to show. I made some make changes last year. Here's what the new business looks like. You know, it's really fine to do that. So don't make it too big of a deal out of it. Okay, a quote from the book. You have to hustle to get real paying customers, real paying clients. You have to pay attention to whether they are paying, whether they are staying with your service, and whether they are referring. Okay, and you have to listen to what they say to work out if and how you are going to grow this business. Remember, it's all about the real feedback from the real paying clients, what they are loving about the business or what they would like to see changed about your service to make it even more effective, and how they are talking about your service. When you ask them, hey, what would you say to a friend about this service? See what they say. And that, the language that they tell you is marketing gold. Okay? So, okay, I guess a couple final things is that you can remember, you can change your business model later. You don't have to have a perfect business model to launch with. Just get something up and running that's simple and that's you can provide and that's easy for people to understand. And you can always make your business model more complex later, to have recurring payments, to have, you know, products, other product services. Keep it simple for now. Okay? And last thing is, you don't have to do it in 7 days, but use these 7 steps and do it either one day per step, just like the book recommends, or do it 5 days per step. Even if you do it 5 days per step, you will still have launched your business in 35 days, which is much better than what most people do, which is spend months or years thinking about it, planning on it, talking to all these people about it, and finally they've invested so much time and so much energy, so much money that they are so attached to it being perfect that they get so painful when they launch and not enough people are buying it. They have so much suffering. No, don't get so attached. Launch it quickly so you can get the real data from the real market, okay? And then adjust and then relaunch. That's the entrepreneurial journey. So until our next episode, remember, and I'll bring it back to the purpose of this this video channel, Our Highest Work, is about doing our highest work. And remember that the purpose of life is not just about making sales and doing business. The purpose of life is to grow in virtues as you serve the world earnestly. So until the next episode, remember that you are always going to be taken care of. The universe will take care of you. And just serve with love. Remember that it's really about learning to grow in knowledge and love. So until the next episode, be well, and comment below the video. Let me know what you thought this and what you would love to learn next. Take care.